everyone, it's Laurie from Cook Scrap Craft, and today I've got a process video for you for this month's Challenge Yourself Scrapbook Challenge. The theme for this month is Dressed to Impress, and so we would like to see how you interpret that theme using a photo of you somewhere on the layout, or multiple photos as I'm doing, and then you can go to the Challenge Yourself blog, which is linked down below, to see everybody on the design team, what they've created, as well as enter your take on the challenge for a chance at a prize. So I tried to be a little intentional with remembering like the products that I'm using in this video. I usually don't. I remember being on design teams before, and you'd have to make a list of all the things that you used, which is great because then people can easily find those products or try to replicate. But I usually like throw away the branding strips if there's not a pattern on the other side, or I put everything away after I finish, and I don't do the voiceover right away. And so then I don't remember what I've used, but I'm trying to do that for this one. So I have the background paper, or no, not the background paper. What is the background paper? I think the background paper, if I can find it, is from the Some Days collection from Pink Fresh. I really liked it for the flowers because that reminded me of spring, and the photos that I'm using are my daughter and I dressed to impress for her school's spring dance. And then I've also got that pink is Heidi Swap from the Magnolia Jane collection. And then I'm going to be adding in some ticket pattern paper from Fancy Pants Designs Peachy Keen collection, as well as a striped white and yellow paper, which is also from Fancy Pants Peachy Keen collection. These are papers that I got as part of my Paper Issues warehouse box, so I don't know how available they are to purchase or to find elsewhere. They're probably older collections, but you might be able to find something similar. I'm sure there is somewhere, some manufacturer has made, a ticket pattern paper. So all you have to do is find it. And then in terms of embellishments, I'm also using some Pink Fresh embellishments from the Happy Hearts collection, some Studio Texturic chipboard pieces, some pretty little studio sticker phrases, and my journaling spot is going to be a freckled fawn journaling spot. I also have a couple Pink Fresh embellishments they're just like ephemera pieces from the Life Right Now collection. They're all the florals that had a lot of flower die cuts in it, so that's what I'm going to be using for those. Right now what I'm trying to do is recreate a design that I first started using a really long time ago. I think it was a sketch from a very old scrapbook kit that I used to subscribe to, and I can't think of the lady's name. Oh, I think her name was Tiana. She doesn't really do scrapbooking anymore, but she used to have a scrapbook kit club, and there were always sketches, and I really, really liked this one particular sketch. So I was sort of trying to recreate it a little bit. I kept 2 of the photos 4x6, and those I actually printed out on my home printer because I'm not anywhere near scrapbooking this year's photos. I've not yet finished November and December, and going through some of my older layouts, I still have some layouts to complete from August of last year. So I'm not anywhere close to scrapbooking April 2023. So I don't have those photos printed. So I printed them out on my home printer with just Canon photo paper, and they turned out really well, actually. It's not really something that I would want to do on a regular basis because ink is expensive, but for, to do it in a pinch, it worked out really well. So 2 of the photos I kept 4x6, and one of them I cut down to 4x5.5, and then I cut that ticket paper down to 4x5.5 as well. And I matted it all on that pink Heidi Swap paper. And then because that does extend from the top of the layout to the bottom, I just wanted a little bit more going out on the sides. So I'm adding that yellow striped paper. And this is because I then decide that I need to measure things and make sure everything is equal. Then I realize I haven't put the photo section very equal on the background paper. So it does take a little bit of finagling to get that to be equal so that you can see enough of the yellow striped paper on both sides. But I think it's worth the effort to try and at least make it look a little bit equal, right? It's always good to have always good to have a ruler handy. I can't remember. I think my other ruler, I had like a plastic Creative Memories ruler. I think it broke. I think I snapped it in half. So this metal ruler, I think it's not like a scrapbooking ruler. I think you could just buy it at an office supply store. But that's the ruler that I am now left with. So I'm just trying to measure to make sure that I think both sides are about an inch, or both of those pattern papers are about an inch away from the side. So I just need to move the photos over just a smidge more so that things look a little bit even. And then I'm going to start adding in the embellishments by basically just embellishing out from both sides. I was going to do something that was like on the diagonal, but there were so many great floral pieces from that Pink Fresh collection. I also threw in the little houses because we were taking these photos in front of our house, so I thought those would be fun. So like here I've got 3 pieces, 2 flat, 1 popped up, right? A little cluster of 3. And now I'm adding another piece of 4. That one is the Studio Tech Trick and it says Beautiful on it, so I thought that was kind of fitting. But then I go over here and I'm making more of an embellishment cluster with some of the larger floral pieces, and I still had some left over. And I thought, you know what? Let's just make a really big long line on either side of the embellishments. And that way you can add a whole lot more in, use up a whole lot more of these pieces that are really fun. And where the ticket paper is, that's going to be where the title and the journaling go eventually. So if you're liking this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more process videos. This week is a special week because we have this one on Monday and then tomorrow is Tuesday, the normal process video day of the week. So you're going to get 2 process videos this week plus, I don't know, whatever else goes up. Have I posted my layout share yet? I don't know. It might go up this week. It might have already gone up, but if it hasn't, then stay tuned for that as well. I didn't make a lot of layouts in July, but I'll talk more about that in that video. But obviously I was doing the December daily, so those count as layouts, right? They're just smaller versions, but they still count. Let me also know in the comments if you have any questions about anything that you see me doing or using, or if you want to tell me what size scrapbook layouts you usually create. Are you a 12 by 12, an 8.5 by 11, a 6 by 8, or maybe a 4 by 4, or like a traveler's notebook type of person? Maybe you do an art journal type of thing. Let me know down in the comments. So I'm using just a few small bits of double-sided adhesive to stick these things down. I will say those Studio Tech Trick pieces, if you can still find them somewhere to purchase, it's a little hard to peel the backing off of the chipboard. You kind of start peeling into the chipboard, so just be really careful with those. And they're also very shiny. And some of them, I do have some in my stash that are also journaling spots. So if you are journaling on them, make sure you give your ink time to dry so that it doesn't smudge. So maybe do your journaling as like the very last step. So I'm just adding in a couple of those little phrase stickers. Those are they've got like some pink colorings in them. So I'm trying to find things that have sentiments that kind of go with the theme of this, but also that fit the colors. And I'm throwing in some enamel dots as well. I'm really going all out. I think those enamel dots were probably also Pink Fresh. I think they were part of my Christmas collection, though I'm not really sure why there's yellow in a Christmas collection. I used all the Christmassy colors. I wouldn't consider yellow to be very Christmassy. And I also don't know why. See, I like the Simple Stories enamel dots better, I think, because this one, it didn't have enough of the different sizes to do multiple clusters of 3. So normally you'll do like a big one, a medium one, and a small one. This one had 4 sizes of the enamel dots. So it was like giant, big, smaller, and smallest. But there wasn't enough to do, the clusters of 3. It was just kind of weird because I ended up with 2 of the smallest ones left over, along with like a medium one. And I use them just to use them up because I thought, well, what else am I going to do with these? But I don't really like having the 4 sizes, and not having them in equal amounts to do the 3s. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's just my personal preference. I do like Simple Stories enamel dots because they only come in 3 sizes and there are enough to do multiple, to use them all and get those clusters done in the big, medium, and small sizes. So the title is made up of some old American craft stickers from my stash. I had to use a backwards 3 as an E. And then I've got some Simple Stories mini alpha stickers that I'm using for the rest of it. So basically it was whatever I could find in my stash that had the appropriate letters that I needed for this title. And some of the title is going to stick over that freckled fawn journaling spot. And then I'm going to use a pink, no, not a zig writer. Yes, it is a zig writer that I got from Michael's. It's easy to find. I'm sure they still make those. And I'm going to do the journaling in pink. And then that's pretty much going to do it. I have so many embellishments. There's really no need for any splatters or anything. The photo section takes up a pretty large portion of the layout. So really the embellishments and just finishing up with that journaling, that's kind of all I need. And I also, again, with the freckled fawn journaling spots, that is kind of slick. So be very careful when you're doing the journaling. Do it the last step and maybe just like walk away from the layout. Don't try to lift it up or anything because you don't want to smudge it. Just let that ink dry as much as it can. And these are the close-ups. You can see things in a little bit more detail. There's a lot of dimension here with some of the embellishments that I used. And again, I hope this was inspiring for you and that you go to the Challenge Yourself blog to see what everybody else created and that you play along with us this month. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.